Defense, Lloyd Austin as the black man. This is not a joke. It's actually.
And so it's all about treating people with dignity. And it's about making sure that, look, I mean, for example, look at the heat I'm getting because I named the Secretary of Defense to a black man. I named Ketanji Brown. I mean, because of the people I've named.
Yeah, the black man.
To a black man.
It's all about dignity. He says it's all about dignity. And then he refers to Secretary Lloyd Austin as the black man. You know what? I bet it's really exciting at a Joe Biden cabinet meeting. He got secretary. He's out there going, let me hear from the black man. Or, let's get an update from the gay dude. What's your name? Or if Attorney General Merrick Garland's in there, he's like, hey, look, I appointed that old fart to the Department of Justice and that lesbian woman as energy secretary. Wait, she's not a lesbian? The hair. The hair just threw me off. What's up? This is Mark K. Saves the Republic. Thank you so much for joining me today, folks. I'm going to miss Joe Biden when the Democrats force him to leave, either because of COVID or because of some other ailment that he has. But I'm really going to miss the guy because he does provide so much great content. And while we are here in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, at the RNC, day 4, the big day, this is the day. This is the day that Donald Trump will take the stage and he will accept the nomination once again for the Republican Party to be the next president of the United States. While that's happening, we've still got a lot of stuff we got to cover. We had great speeches last night from Kai Trump, his granddaughter, and from J.D. Vance, who is the VP pick. Is he the best VP pick? Is he the right guy for the job? Did his speech sell himself to the American public? Is he going to be the person that in 2028 can pick up the mantle of Trumpism, can pick up the mantle of conservatism, can take it and run away with it? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Only time will tell. We'll get to all of that. Listen, before we do, though, I want to remind you, first of all, thanks so much for finding us here. If you're on Rumble, if you're on YouTube, wherever you happen to be watching, we really appreciate it. Make sure that you're subscribing to this channel. Make sure you hit subscribe on the YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe on the Rumble. If you haven't yet downloaded our podcast, make sure you go to iTunes or Spotify or wherever you go and you download that podcast or subscribe to it at least so it'll automatically download whenever you open up your phone, and that way you'll never miss a single episode because we're going to be doing this every single day. And then yesterday we got a bunch of Rumble rants and YouTube super chats, and keep in mind we're independent now. Ever since the liberal media tried to tamp down on us and shut us up, we are now all in it for ourselves. So we're self-sufficient, and any and all YouTube super chats that you send, any and all Rumble rants will be we will appreciate it, number one, and we'll make sure that we reinvest all of them right back into this show. All right, so Joe Biden. We'll get to Kai in just a minute, and we'll get to J.D. Vance in just a minute. We do have some fantastic guests too. We're going to be talking to Matt Boyle from Breitbart coming up here in just a little while. Oh. There's some famous people here that we weren't expecting, but we got the roster of speakers, and there's some surprise guests. And I don't know if I'm supposed to share them with you or not, but I'm going to let you know who the surprise guests are. I'll give you a hint. Ready? I'll give you a hint. Here's one. Ready? That was a horrible. That was a horrible. You know what? I'm not going to give any hints because I suck at hints. But just keep listening because I'll tell you here in just a minute. First, though, yesterday a couple of interesting things happened. Joe Biden got COVID, and we know this because he was in Nevada, where he was trying to court black voters in Nevada by referring to Lloyd Austin as the black man.
The black man.
He was also supposed to do some events for Latino organizations because Joe Biden's Latino numbers are also plummeting. In fact, some would say that Joe Biden is bleeding Latino voters faster than he's bleeding African-American voters, and we know how fast he's bleeding African-American voters. But he was supposed to do this event, and the woman in charge came out, and she made the following announcement to the crowd.
I was just on the phone with President Biden, and he shared his deep disappointment at not being able to join us this afternoon. The president has been at many events, as we all know, and he just tested positive for COVID.
He just tested positive for COVID. Now, this is interesting to me for a couple of reasons, because number one, who's still testing for COVID? If you get a sniffle or a cough or a sore throat, are you running out and getting a COVID test? I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to go lay down for a little while. I'm going to take some zinc, maybe a couple shots of bullet bourbon, and I'll be good to go. But Joe Biden apparently is still getting tested for COVID every single day. Joe Biden is now taking himself off of the campaign trail, or Someone is taking him off of the campaign trail. And this is at a time when he needs every single vote he can get. Nevada ain't a Democrat lock the way it was last time, unless, of course, Fox News calls it early like they did in 2020. But Nevada ain't a lock, and he needs all the help he can get. Joe Biden is behind in Nevada. He's behind in Georgia. He's behind in Arizona. He's behind in, I think, pretty much every Rust Belt state there is, and we'll get to more on that with J.D. Vance. But this guy has now not only done a horrible job at the debate, not only does his entire party have knives out for him, not only are there rumors one after the other of people that are going to replace him or ways that they're going to take him out, but now he has quote-unquote COVID, which I'm going to be honest with you. If you believe that Joe Biden has COVID, then you'll believe that I have headlights. This guy does not have COVID. He's been forced off the campaign trail because his party is trying to find a way to replace him. If you don't believe me, just ask Donald Trump, because look, the Democrats hate Donald Trump. They don't want Donald Trump to be president. They can't stand the idea or the thought of another 4 years of Donald Trump. And they definitely don't want Donald Trump getting in charge of the DOJ again and putting in charge of the DOJ an attorney general who will do some dastardly things to them, who will bring justice to them finally. They don't want any of that. They can't have that. That would be horrible for them. They don't want to end up in prison. So they try to take out Donald Trump. They tried to take him out with impeachment number 1, impeachment number 2, 91 indictments. Oh, look, then all of a sudden you've got all these. We're going to try to bankrupt him with all of these civil trials. And when that doesn't work, we're going to try to, what we're going to try to do? We're going to throw him in jail with this conviction, quote unquote, in New York. And when that didn't stop him either, boom, the bullets start flying in Pennsylvania. And all of a sudden, Donald Trump has endured everything. He's survived everything. So where do you go after that? All right, we can't take out Donald Trump. We know Joe Biden's going to lose to him. Joe Biden won't step down. We got to do something about Joe. If Joe Biden is listening, which I know he's not, but if anyone that works for Joe Biden and cares about Joe Biden is listening, tell that old dude to watch his back. Because these Democrats on the left are dastardly. They will do whatever it is to push their agenda, to keep themselves in power and to protect themselves. And if you think that they wouldn't do to Joe Biden what they tried to do to Donald Trump this weekend, then you just don't think. Because they don't care who there is in their crosshairs or in their bullseye, as Joe Biden would say. They're going to do whatever they can do to take the power back or keep the power. And if Donald Trump will give it up, then they'll take out Joe Biden. Anyway, that's coming up. Well, like I said, we'll get to more on that in just a minute. The Secret Service, by the way, the woman in charge of the Secret Service, this Cheadle, she was here. It was really weird. A lot of people were wondering, why on earth would she come to the RNC? A lot of people are like, this just doesn't seem like the kind of place where this woman who, gosh, I would say a good 99%. I would say a good 99% of Republicans, lawmakers, Republican Congress people, Republican senators, law enforcement, voters, 99% of the people are calling for this woman's head. They want her to resign. She won't. We talked to Congressman Mike Waltz. He said, look, we're going to have inquiries. We're going to have all kinds of investigations. Kat Kamek is on the Weaponization of Government Committee, and she's talking about the same thing. This woman's got to go. Washington, D.C. has it out for her. They don't want her around. They don't want her in charge of protecting the president. And she shows up here at the RNC. Well, wouldn't you know it, thank God for Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. Marsha Blackburn, who, by the way, she's not a tall person, but she is big in stature. She showed up at the Pfizer forum. She tracked Cheadle down and just literally started berating her. Listen to this. Oh, wait, where's my Marsha Blackburn clip? Hang on, I had it right here. I got it. I got to go to downloads. I got it right here. I think I want to say, maybe I don't have it. That's fine. I'll find it here in just a minute and I'll play it for you. But Marsha Blackburn, let me go back to my camera. Oh no, now I'm just messing everything up. Where's my camera? There we go. There I am. Marsha Blackburn, she chased her down and she was like, look, you should not be here. First of all, you have to resign. I'm going to find it. I'm going to pull it off because I really want to play it for you. And this happened live at the RNC. And you have to really think about it. This is kind of a slap in the face by the Secret Service director of all the people here who are here at the RNC. Everybody, here it is. I got it right here. Hang on. Ready? Okay, here we go. I'm going to drop it in. And this is how I roll now. Like I said, I'm a one-man show. Here.
This is exactly what you were doing today on the call.
This was an assassination attempt. You owe the people answers. You owe President Trump answers.
I mean, trust me, you do not want Marsha Blackburn screaming at you, or you don't want her trying to hunt you down, because she's from Tennessee. She knows how to hunt. And that is something that happened here live yesterday.
This is exactly what you were doing today
This
on the
was
call.
an assassination attempt. You owe the people answers. You owe President Trump answers.
I think that's John Barrasso with her, and they're like, look, you need to answer for this assassination attempt gone wrong. Thankfully, where there was nothing worse than just an injured ear. Well, except of course for Corey, who died. Oh yeah, you know what? Now that I think about it, you should probably step down, but you're not. You're taking a trip to Milwaukee. What even are you doing here? We have enough Secret Service here, I'd like to point out. And the Secret Service on the ground here in Milwaukee is doing a bang-up job. They're everywhere. They're omnipresent, but they aren't in your face. They're respectful of you and your persona. They're respectful of your stuff. They know that you have as much right to be here as they do. They are protecting you, but they are not inhibiting you. So all of the law enforcement here in Milwaukee has been fantastic without her here. So I guess, I don't know. It really seemed to ruffle some feathers. Listen, coming up, like I said, we've got some Trump spokespeople. We're going to share with you the schedule. There's a couple of surprises that I'm really excited about. And then tonight's the night. Donald Trump's going to take the stage. He's going to come out for the first time since the rally in Pennsylvania. He's going to speak. We haven't heard Donald Trump speak since he was on stage pointing out the Joe Biden statistics that he had, and then when he was done, then when he was pointing out the statistics, that's when the bullet hit his ear and he took to the ground. They dragged him off to the hospital. He hasn't spoken since, not publicly. So today is going to be a very, very, very important event, a very important speech. It's going to be mayhem, and it's going to be very exciting. Speaking of speeches, yesterday, a couple of really great speeches. Before we get to J.D. Vance, the vice president, and your thoughts on him, and more importantly, I guess, my thoughts on him. J.D. Vance was introduced by his wife, and before that, Don Jr. came out to speak about his father. But he turned the microphone over to his daughter, his eldest daughter, Kai Trump, who is Donald Trump's eldest granddaughter. A surprise. We found out about it yesterday. We didn't know that Don Jr. was. In fact, he made a joke about how Trumps don't usually like to turn the microphone over to anybody. But it was his daughter, and it was Trump's granddaughter, and she really wanted to speak. And she wanted to let people know about the kind of dad or granddad that her grandpa is. She wanted people to know the real Donald Trump, because guess what? People don't usually get to see or hear about the real Donald Trump. Why are none of my clips working? This is annoying. Hang on, let me grab the clip here for you. I'm gonna have to do it. I'm gonna have to do it this way. This is Kai Trump talking about her grandfather, Donald Trump.
My name is Kai Madison Trump. I am the granddaughter of Donald Trump. I'm speaking today to share the side of my grandpa that people don't often see. To me, he's just a normal grandpa. He gives us candy and soda when our parents aren't looking. He always wants to know how we're doing in school. When I made the high honor roll, he printed it out to show his friends how proud he was of me. I know.
Why? Where am I? There it is. I don't know what's happening with my system. But let me check this. Yeah, there we go. By the way, it's nice to know that Donald Trump does what all grandparents do when they print out the high honor roll things. My in-laws do that too. They print out. You know what my in-laws do? I don't know if anyone else's in-laws do this, but they print out text messages that their grandkids send them, and they put them up. They put them up like photographs, which I guess is one way to do it. Anywho, she also talked about how Donald Trump calls her during school. Let's see if this one works. Nope, it does. Sure doesn't. Here we go.
He calls me during the middle of the school day to ask how my golf game is going and tells me all about his. But then I have to remind him that I'm in school and I'll have to call him back later.
I mean, I feel like if you're in school and you get a phone call from President Donald Trump, probably you get a little probably they let you go a little bit. But that was her messaging. Look, this is not the monster that the media paints a portrait of. This is not the criminal mastermind that all of these DAs and special prosecutors and attorneys general try to tell you he is. This is not this savage beast of a man. This is a loving and caring father and grandfather who also loves and cares about America and wants to do anything and will really endure anything, which she brought up as well. Let's see if this one works. Nope. Here we go.
On Saturday, I was shocked when I heard that he has been shot, and I just wanted to know if he was okay. It was heartbreaking that someone would do that to another person. A lot of people have put my grandpa through hell, and he's still standing.
Yeah, I got an ovation too. She's a very good. You have to think about it. For being a first-time speech giver, I think she's 14 years old, 14, 15 years old. And this crowd is a massive crowd, a very large crowd. Not just the raucous thousands of delegates and media people, and you've got the alternate delegates, and then just people, just guests, people, fans, political fans, and Republicans who are here that she's speaking to. You've got the Speaker of the House out there. You've got all of these dignitaries, and she's doing a great job, not to mention the millions watching at home, because you've got all of the news agencies, Newsmax and Fox News and ABC. They're all there, and they're all broadcasting this live around the world, and she's doing a great job. And she, of course, ends it with a family favorite. Let me see if I can get this one to work. Where is it? Hang on. Here we go.
The media makes my grandpa seem like a different person, but I know him for who he is. He's very caring and loving. He truly wants the best for this country, and he will fight every single day to make America great again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and that was a surprise guest speaker, Kai Trump, who did a fantastic job. And then, after she was done, her dad came out and spoke for a very long time. Which is, but look, Don Jr. is a great speaker. He's very impassioned. He's very excited about his father, and he has a vision for the future as well. But he pushed the program back a couple of. If I see him, I'd be like, that was a great speech. It could have been like 5 minutes shorter, but I think you did a fantastic job. Then it was the big night, the big speaker of the night, and the guy who really owned the night, or was supposed to own the night, was J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance from Ohio, senator from Ohio, who at 39 years of age had really, I think, shocked a lot of people by being chosen by Donald Trump as the VP pick. And I'm going to be honest with you, when Donald Trump originally made the pick of J.D. Vance, I was okay with it. I wasn't like 100%. I was maybe like, 75, 80%. I was like, all right, I see it. I get it. I understand politically why the pick was made. And as JD started to speak, I think it became more and more clear as well why the pick was made. He did, of course, play off of Kai's speech a little bit by discussing what a loving and huggy and snuggly person he knows Donald Trump to be. I don't think this one's we're going to have the same. Hang on, this is going to take a second.
He is tough, and he is. But he cares about people. He can stand defiant against an assassin one moment and call for national healing the next. He is a beloved father and grandfather, and of course, a once-in-a-generation business leader. He's the man who is feared by America's adversaries, but 2 nights ago, and I'll share a moment, said goodnight to his 2 boys, told them he loved them, and made sure to give each of them a kiss on the cheek. And I will say, Don and Eric squirmed the same way my 4-year-old does when his daddy tries to give him a kiss on the cheek. Sorry, guys.
I mean, that's a great visual, though. That's a great visual. Don Jr. and Eric squirming around while their dad's trying to kiss them on their scruffy, bearded cheeks. Good night, kids. I love you. That is kind of, it's great. And it again sets up Donald Trump as what we all know him to be. And that is a real person, because behind the political rhetoric and behind the campaign ads and behind all the derogatory statements and the propaganda and the lawsuits and the indictments and the mugshots and the blood-stained face, behind all of that is a guy who has a family and loves them. And he's always been a family man. He loved his own father very much. He loved his brother, who died of alcoholism. One of the reasons that Donald Trump refuses this day to drink. And now that he has his own kids and grandkids, he loves them too. And most importantly, he loves you. And he loves your grandkids and your kids. And he wants you to be as successful and happy as they are. And so he chose J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, who showed up and wanted to accept J.D. Vance, who showed up to accept the nomination for Vice President of the United States of America, which I have right here, I think. Hold on. How do you spell J.D. Vance? Oh, there it is, J.D. Here we go. No, hang on. There we go.
Mr. Chairman, I stand here humbled, and I'm overwhelmed with gratitude to say I officially accept your nomination to be Vice President of the United States of America.
Yeah, good. Now, J.D. Vance he did a great job of telling his own story and presenting his own case. And he was out there and he was saying, look, here's who I am. Here's where I came from. Here's what I've done in my life. Here's what I've had to overcome. Here are the people that helped me through my life. My grandmother, my mame or Mima or whatever you call her. And my mom, who is 10 years sober, who was there as well. Very proud to see her boy standing on stage at 39 years of age, accepting the nomination for Vice President of the United States. I mean, that's got to be an incredible experience for anybody of any age. And that's what's happening live on the stage. That's what's going on with J.D. Vance. But he did something else too. He did something else which was very important and which was his job to do, and he made sure people knew that it wasn't him running for president, it was Donald Trump running for president. And here it is. Oh, come on. You know, this is why... Oh, you know what? Never mind. Here we go. Listen carefully.
He is all those things, but tonight we celebrate he is our once and future President of the United States of America.
Yeah. And he talked about the leader that Donald Trump is. He talked about the kind of leader that Donald Trump is and the kind of leader that Donald Trump will be again. And he did a great job with it. What he did, in fact, I'm going to try something new here. Hopefully I won't screw it up. He talked about why Donald Trump is the leader that we need at this very moment.
We need a leader who's not in the pocket of big business, but answers to the working man, union and non-union alike. A leader who won't sell out to multinational corporations, but will stand up for American companies and American industry. A leader who rejects Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's Green New scam and fights to bring back our great American factories. We need President Donald J. Trump.
All right, hang on. I'm stuck on JB Vance, so I have to. Let me go back to. What I was. Here, let me go here for a second. All right. So anyway, This is what there we go. Oh, look, I'm back live. That's fantastic. All right, I'm not going to do that again. So anyway, JB Vance is out there. I'm sorry, JD Vance is out there, and he's trying to tell people this is the leader that we need. And this is where I began to realize why JD Vance was chosen. This is where I began to realize why JD Vance is the guy that they picked, because politically he makes the best sense. Listen to what he said here.
That divide between the few with their power and comfort in Washington and the rest of us only widened. From Iraq to Afghanistan, from the financial crisis to the Great Recession, from open borders to stagnating wages, the people who govern this country have failed and failed again. That is, of course, until a guy named Donald J. Trump came along. President Trump represents America's last best hope to restore what, if lost, may never be found again. A country where a working-class boy born far from the halls of power can stand on this stage as the next vice president of the United States of America.
Yeah, this is the working class. This is the working. They need somebody to look at Joe Biden's Scranton boy demeanor. They need somebody to look at Joe Biden and his. My daddy just told me a little breathing room, Joe. We need a little breathing room, and how Joe Biden claims to be from Pennsylvania one minute and then Delaware the next, and how he's supposedly the blue-collar president, but the unions are showing up here at the RNC to promote and to support Donald Trump. That's who they need, and that's why they chose J.D. Vance from the hillbilly elegy foothills of the Appalachian in Ohio. And he went on to talk about, look, who is this actually for? Who is this election for? This election is for, well, a whole bunch of people, and they all just happen to be in the Rust Belt.
This moment is not about me. It's about all of us, and it's about who we're fighting for. It's about the auto worker in Michigan wondering why out-of-touch politicians are destroying their jobs. It's about the factory worker in Wisconsin who makes things with their hands and is proud of American craftsmanship. It's about the energy worker in Pennsylvania and Ohio who doesn't understand why Joe Biden is willing to buy energy from tin pot dictators across the world when he could buy it from his own citizens right here in our own country.
Yeah, that right there is why J.D. Vance was chosen to be your VP. That right there. He said the auto worker in Michigan with all of their electoral votes. The factory worker in Wisconsin with all of their electoral votes. The energy workers in Pennsylvania. They are trying to wrap up the Rust Belt because they don't want what happened last time to happen again. They don't want us watching Donald Trump winning Wisconsin and winning Michigan and winning Pennsylvania, and then we go to bed and we see that vertical line straight up where somehow in the middle of the night, Joe Biden managed to get enough votes, mail-in ballots and drop-off ballots to put him into the stratosphere and give him the very important swing states of Wisconsin, of Michigan, of Pennsylvania. They don't want that. So J.D. Vance is their guy on the ground. He's the guy that's going to relate to those people. And for that reason, I believe J.D. Vance was a fantastic choice. When you look at the electoral map, J.D. Vance makes the most sense. He makes way more sense than Tim Scott because South Carolina is all wrapped up. South Carolina is about the reddest state you can find other than, maybe Florida or Texas or Alabama. Or really, actually, there's a lot of really red states down south. But Tim Scott he's a great guy. He's a jolly guy. We all love him, but we don't need South Carolina. Marco Rubio, fantastic. The Latino vote has already turned to Trump. The Latino vote, no, they're Catholic, they're immigrants, they're hardworking, they're already conservative. And Marco Rubio's a great guy, but that's not going to help in the Rust Belt. J.D. Vance was the man, and he's 39 years old, and he gets the youth vote. It's a win, 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 win. Yeah, and a win for the Republican Party, and that's why I think he was chosen. Now, he did wrap up, of course, with the obligatory, hey, here's what we're going on here. Thanks for everything. Make America great again.
And every single day for the next 4 years, when I walk into that White House to help President Trump, I will be doing it for you. For your family, for your future, and for this great country. Thank you. God bless all of you, and God bless our great country.
So there you go. So J.D. Vance is a great pick for vice president. I'm close. The only issue that I have now is what happens in 4 years. This is not an 8-term vice presidency. This is 4 years. Donald Trump is term limited out after this next 4 years. He is the Grover Cleveland of 2024. He gets 4 more years, and then he's got to introduce us to the next generation of leadership. And if everything that we know about American politics stands, the vice president will be the presumptive nominee for the Republican Party. Is J.D. Vance going to be that guy? Is he ready in 4 years? I think right now, for all intents and purposes, he's a great VP pick for President Donald Trump. Will he in 4 years be ready to be President J.D. Vance? That's where I'm still like about 80% of the way there. Listen, in just a minute, I'm going to share with you the schedule for tonight. We're going to go through a couple of the surprises. We have a couple of other people who want to talk about what happened last night, what's going to happen tonight, so much more of Mark K. Saves the Republic coming up. But first, there's 2 things I really love about broadcasting this week from Media Row. Number one is that I'm no longer the only guy in the room wearing makeup, which is nice. And the other is all of the accolades and all of the nice comments people have been making about my brand new book, Go Trump Yourself, 10 Ways to Live Like Trump in a Joe Biden Economy. And even Laura Trump yesterday when she was here mentioned it. I've been giving out copies to all of the Congress people we've been talking to and autographing them, which is weird. It's weird to have congressional people ask you to sign their stuff, but it happens. And a lot of you have already experienced Go Trump Yourself, either in the soft cover edition, or if you've gotten the ebook and the audiobook, or all three. A lot of people opt to get all three. You can even get multiple copies on our website right now, GoTrumpYourself.com. And in fact, let me show you some of the accolades that have been that we've gotten on the website. Here's the website. That's what it looks like. Live Like Trump for only $19. Teresa Z writes, this book is hilarious. It's hard to find humor in the day-to-day chaos that is caused by our political elites. Obviously, she hasn't been listening. Well, I haven't been broadcast. Anyway, inspirational. One of the most honest and precise books about Trump. Wendy M says, this book is Trumpulous. It is a must read for those that love America and all it affords its U.S. loving patriots. And of course, if you don't like to read, that's okay. I read it for you. You can get the audiobook. Look, I'm not going to read all of these reviews, but I'm just going to show you. Everybody loves this. So if you haven't yet gotten your copy, go to GoTrumpYourself.com. GoTrumpYourself.com. It's only $19 plus shipping. We've got tons in the warehouse. We've got, oh, look, somebody in the corner. Julia from Montgomery, Texas, just bought a copy. Thanks, Julia. We'll get it out to you here in just a minute. Oh, here's a comment about me. Mark is straightforward and honest. He calls it as he sees it. He's a conservative with a sense of humor. William, I'm very touched. I'm very touched by that. GoTrumpYourself.com. GoTrumpYourself.com. Go there today for only $19 plus shipping. You can get your own copy of Go Trump Yourself. 10 Ways to Live Like Trump in a Joe Biden Economy. GoTrumpYourself.com. Incidentally, by the way, these, I'm sorry, I blew my nose, so I had to mute the microphone. Incidentally, these have been very popular here. I had a stack of them, and I've been handing them out to like pretty much everybody who walks by because, number one, they are thrilled about it. They're like, this is so exciting, I want to read it. And number two, I don't want to carry them back on the plane because I already got charged extra for my heavy luggage. The lighter I can make my bags on the way back, the better. All right, so let's talk a little bit about what's happening tonight. We have some very exciting stuff going on. There's a list of speakers, and there's been a couple of additions, if you will. For example, well, we've got Senator Steve Daines from Montana. We know he was going to speak. Richard Hudson from North Carolina. That's not exciting. Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State. Pastor Lorenzo Sewell, who is from Chicago. And he was around here, so I wanted to talk to him. He was Donald Trump went to his church in Chicago in the inner city, and he was, he said Joe Biden won't even come to the hood. Thank you, Donald Trump, for coming here. So he's going to be speaking tonight. We have Alina Habba, who is President Donald Trump's attorney, and Tucker Carlson, founder of Tucker Carlson Network. That's how he's listed. That's going to be a good one, I'm sure. Hulk Hogan has been added to the schedule. Hulk Hogan. Carrie Ruiz, Everyday American, is listed. And then Hulk Hogan, professional entertainer, followed by Franklin Graham, Eric Trump, Dana White. And then at 9 o'clock-ish, President Donald Trump will be taking to the dais, to the podium, so that he can accept the nomination. Now, I heard there's a rumor out there, and I don't know if it's true or not, but there's a rumor that 50 Cent is here. And I heard this yesterday from the TPUSA guys. I heard yesterday that 50 Cent is here because 50 Cent, as you know, is a capitalist and he is a conservative and he's a big Donald Trump supporter. And there's a rumor floating around, and rumors pretty much tend to be true, especially here at the RNC, that 50 Cent will be on stage and will be rapping as Donald Trump comes out, or will be rapping sometime throughout the evening, which I think is fantastic. I think it's fantastic because we know that black voters are flocking to the Republican Party, not just because Joe Biden's a big racist.
So it's all about treating people with dignity. And it's about making sure that, look, for example, look at the heat I'm getting. Because I named the Secretary of Defense, the black man. I named Ketanji Brown. Because of
the black man. Lloyd Austin, Secretary of Defense. The black man. At least he didn't say the black guy. That definitely would have been, that would have been way more Joe Biden, but he didn't say that. But no, 50 Cent is supposedly here. And again, I don't know if he's going to be rapping. I think that would be fantastic. I love, as you know, I'm a big fan of rap, and I love a good rap. And if 50 Cent came out and did a little number, how great. In fact, if I see him around, I'm going to share this with him because I laid down some rhymes. Maybe, I'm going to spit some verses that maybe he could use if he wanted to on the floor tonight. Here we go. This is what I imagine 50 Cent rapping for Trump would be like. Here we go. Shooters on the roof. Trump is in his scope. Secret Service can't do nothing because the friggin' roof is sloped. Shots ring out, the whole crowd panics. Trump gets shot, his right ear gets nicked. He hits the floor hard, his knees get bruised. He jumps right up and says, "Let me get my shoes." Blood on his face, but Trump's all right. That's when he throws up his fist and yells, "Fight, fight, fight! Fight, fight, fight! Fight, fight, fight! Fight, fight, fight!" Donald Trump yells, "Fight, fight, fight!" Yeah, that's what I imagine would happen if 50 Cent were rapping for Donald Trump. Oh, you know what? We should probably talk about Joe Biden. Let me tell you about this guy, Joe Biden. Here we go. The Democrats are screwed. They know they're going to lose. Their man got COVID, plus he's totally confused. He can barely speak. He can barely walk. He says stupid ass crap every time he talks. He mumbles and stumbles and rumbles and grumbles. Every time he's on TV, his poll numbers tumble. Joe Biden is in bed with a real bad cold. Trump's at the RNC with a bullet hole. Joe will be in bed tonight at 9. Oh, not 9 tonight. Oh, here we go. Joe will be in bed at 9 o'clock tonight. Donald Trump will be on stage yelling, "Fight, fight, fight! Fight, fight, fight! Fight, fight, fight! Hand in the air! Fight, fight, fight!" Yeah, that's what I imagine. That's what I imagine is going to happen. I'm telling you, it's a party here. You never know what you're going to get. You're going to get Hulk Hogan. You're going to get Dana White. You're going to get 50 Cent. You're going to get Mark Kaye wearing shades, yelling and screaming, "Fight, fight, fight!" in the middle of Media Row. It's really incredible. That's what we've got. That's, like I said, you never really know what you're going to get. All right, we have some very exciting stuff. We have a couple guests here too. People that we have a couple people that we've met and we've spoken to, and we always want to share the news from the RNC, and they're really great. Donald Trump's people have a ton of spokespeople on the ground. The RNC has lots of people on the ground as well, and we're going to be chatting with Matt Boyle here in just a minute. Matt Boyle is from. He's from where is he from? Oh, he's from Breitbart, and he's fantastic. He does a great job. Breitbart. He's the Washington bureau chief for Breitbart, and I have to tell you, when you're looking at when you're looking at all of these news sources, you really have to be careful where you're getting your information, because most of the time it's wrong, it's false. They're pushing some kind of narrative, But what happens with Breitbart is they cut through all of that. They give you just what you need to know. They give you the information that you need to know, and they let you and they tell you just the facts. And every day before I do that, like before I line up the show, or really when I want to know anything, the first thing I do is I go to Breitbart and I say, "Hey, what's the deal? What's going on?" And then I pick and choose my story. So we're going to get to him in just a minute. I'm excited. I have RNC spokeswoman Elizabeth Pipco here, who is. I'm excited. I have RNC spokeswoman Elizabeth Pipco here, who is, well, a spokeswoman for the RNC. So she speaks for the entire Republican National Convention, which is fantastic. Elizabeth, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Well, we appreciate it. Last night, J.D. Vance comes out. Well, last night, let's back up a little bit. A lot of great speeches. Kai Trump, I think, was a real crowd pleaser and pretty much stole the show.
Yeah, it was a big surprise. People were really, really excited about it. People are still talking about it. I think if you don't spend a lot of time with the Trumps, you don't really understand them as a family. So I think people were really excited to see her there. Not anyone I knew expected it. So that was really fun as well. And it's kind of cool seeing the next generation supporting their grandfather, right? And their family after everything they've been through. So I think people were really, really excited to see her there. And she did a great job.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I mean, it is a huge, I mean, you're talking about the Pfizer Forum. This is where the Bucks play. This is a massive place. And you have all the people on the floor and they're all loud and rowdy. And then you have people around. And then on top of all of that, I mean, she's got to be aware that there's this millions and millions of people this million strong audience at home, because you look up and you see ABC News, right, Newsmax, Fox News, everybody's broadcasting this live.
Yeah, I mean, she's a teenager, right? She's on the internet. I'm sure
right.
She goes to school. She is fully aware of how, maybe half the world views her family and how the
Yeah.
other half views her family. I'm sure it was a lot of pressure for her, but it's also remarkable for someone that age to say, I'm going to stand up knowing that I'll probably get a little criticism, knowing that it's my first time putting my face out there, and I'm going to defend my grandfather and tell the side of him I don't think people see. And I thought it was really special.
Yeah, I really liked it too, because a lot of us, I mean, anyone who's met the Trump family, they're a family. They're nice people. They have kids. They do what they just want to succeed like the rest of us do. And it was nice that she was able to bring that out there. All right, so J.D. Vance, the VP pick, he comes out, and for a lot of people, this was really his first introduction to the world. I mean, Trump diehards, Republicans, anyone who's here kind of has an idea, an inkling of what J.D. Vance is all about. But for most of America, this was his first big moment to shine. How do you think he did?
I thought it was great. Look, I love looking at other people and seeing their reactions, either on the internet or in person here. I saw some people crying when he spoke about his mother.
Yeah.
I asked a lot of people what they thought of him just as a pick because I'm curious, and everyone seemed so excited. Everyone has told me that they're inspired by his story. They love his background, the fact that he's a veteran, the fact that he came from nothing, the fact that he went to Yale Law School, of course. I mean, he's a really impressive man, right? And he's also young. It gives people hope that after 4 years under Donald Trump in the White House, he can continue on with the movement and the message as well. And people just told me that they relate to him, right? They finally feel like they have someone that they relate to that is going to push and support the America First message, but also do it with the people in mind. And I like that people were excited, that it made people feel even more unified after everything we've been through. And I think that's been the best part for me, is seeing people's reactions and excitement for the future.
Yeah, how much? Now, I know that Donald Trump picks, they always say Donald Trump 20 minutes before he made the phone call, made his pick. And Don Jr. was a big part of this as well. How much, though, does the RNC look at this pick and go, okay, this is actually going to really help us with the map? He's from Ohio, and he made some jokes about Michigan and how we got to win those votes. Right. But, it seemed to me as he was speaking, he was talking about Pennsylvania, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, and those are the big battleground states where it's winner take all.
They are. Look, we're obviously keeping the map in mind. That's very important. I will say this is a Donald Trump decision only. I've worked for him on and off since 2016. I know how he works, and this was 100% Donald Trump's choice and not anybody else's. We support the choice, of course. And like I said, people were excited about it. That's what matters. The states you mentioned matter very much too. Donald Trump is leading in all of them by significant margins, but he's also up in states like Nevada, which we didn't expect, tied in states like Minnesota and Virginia. So the map actually looks very different than what a lot of us expected a few months ago. It looks a lot better than what we expected. Hell of a lot redder. And I think J.D. Vance will obviously be helpful, but for us, we know Donald Trump will be successful everywhere.
Joe Biden had to abandon his campaign in Nevada because he has COVID, which means he's, we're going to probably move ahead even further in Nevada. Tonight is the big night. Donald Trump finally gets the nomination. He finally comes. We've seen him every single night this week. He's come out, which is unique as well. Typically, that doesn't happen. The candidate doesn't come out and watch all the speeches, but Donald Trump chose to. And then tonight, finally, it's his turn. I think the first time he's spoken publicly since he was shot on Saturday. What are we expecting?
It is. Look, you said it's unique because the candidate doesn't usually watch the speeches. The candidate also doesn't usually get nearly assassinated on live TV. So this is all pretty unique, pretty special, but that's kind of the story of Donald Trump, right? I remember last week people were asking me what I'm excited for. And I said, I'm excited to watch him get this nomination because he's been through absolute hell and back. I've heard so many times I can't even count anymore that Donald Trump is out of the game. This is the beginning of the end. He's not going to win this primary. He can't come back after this, this indictment and this conviction and everything else. And all I've heard is that it's over for Donald Trump. So I am so excited to watch this happen. And nowhere in my brain did I think that in between some of those interviews I was doing and the actual nomination speech, he would be nearly assassinated. So he has actually been through absolutely anything that a man can go through and still survive. I'm so excited to hear from him. I think everyone else is too. And I think he takes it really seriously when he says that he changed his remarks after what happened on Saturday.
Oh, right.
I mean, he did lose a life at his own rally. I know that affects him and the family quite a bit. It affects me. It affects all of us. And I know for him, it's just about unity. He knows that his message works. He knows people are finally kind of feeling it and coming around to it. The polling shows that. And I think after what we saw on Saturday, he knows this is the moment when Republicans and Democrats are watching and will hopefully realize he is the obvious pick to unify us and move us into the future.
I remember last November when he was at Mar-a-Lago and he was announcing his candidacy and everyone was criticizing him. Republicans were criticizing him because there was that heated runoff in Georgia and they needed all hands on deck to get Herschel Walker to beat Raphael Warnock. And Donald Trump was like, I don't care. I'm announcing my candidacy. And at that particular moment in Mar-a-Lago, there was some news report, probably CNN, and they said something along the lines of people are leaving early. Yeah. People are trying to get, the Secret Service is keeping them in the ballroom to make it look crowded. Everyone was saying Donald Trump's never going to win this. And then we had the primary with Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. And now you walk outside the arena and you see the massive Trump 2024 sitting right outside the Pfizer Forum. And then tonight he's going to accept the nomination in front of thousands and thousands of supporters. So it is really the culmination of almost a year's worth of work.
It is. In 2016, when I worked for him, I remember him maybe being at 2-3% in the polls when he first started, and laughing in people's faces when they said he had no chance. And he said, I know I'm going to be president. Just wait and see. I remember the moment on November 8th, 2016, when we won. And I thought nothing would, beat that. Like nothing would ever compare to
How do you top
that shock. And I think we might be there now. I think this might do it. I think the assassination attempt might have put us over the top and beat 2016. And I mean, no one could do this like he can. I am honored to be a teeny tiny part of it, even just to witness it. And I hope the American people feel what I feel. You don't have to be a Republican, actually, to feel what we all feel right now. He loves this country. He's come back from nearly everything to show us that if you believe in yourself and you believe in this country, you can make it too. And I truly hope people have an open mind tonight and can get excited like I am.
And then all those balloons from the ceiling that have been there all week, they're finally going to fall. Is that
I really hope so, yes.
They're beautiful. They're gold and red and white. Well, I was like, I'm just waiting. I'm like, just stay till Thursday night. Elizabeth Pipco. Pipko. You can follow her on anywhere, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. RNC spokeswoman. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'll see you tonight.
I was just on the phone with President Biden, and he shared his deep disappointment at not being able to join us this afternoon. The president has been at many events, as we all know, and he just tested positive for COVID. So, of course, we understand.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm just on the phone with President Biden. Hang on. Yeah? Okay. All right, good. He still has COVID, so he won't be doing any more. He won't be doing any more events. Listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about the atmosphere outside because I've been trying to spend as much time as possible as I can out. It's very difficult because I come in here early to Media Row and they're bringing people by and we've got interviews to do, and then of course we do the live stream and record the podcast. Then we upload the podcast. Yesterday we had some internet issues, so we had to yell at the internet guys, and then we found out they were big fans of the show, so we felt bad. By the way, when I say we, it's just me. I just try to make it seem like we're a bigger operation. And so there's a lot going on. And then it's 3:00 and I got to go eat and change. And then we go over to the other side. But I did manage yesterday to go outside and meet a few of the people. And I'll bring you more and more of this kind of stuff. As we go along. But there was this one clip I wanted to share with you of these fellas that fellas that I saw yesterday outside of the arena, because people come here and it's not just a convention for them. It's an event, man. They plan for 4 years for this, and they know that there's going to be like-minded individuals here, and they dress to the nines, and they sometimes they dress to the 10s and 11s. Some of them are like a 7, but it doesn't matter. I'm not here to criticize. This is not, I'm not what's his name, Mr. Blackwell. But these guys came in and they were fashion forward and very into Donald Trump. Listen to this. This is Luke. Luke, where are you from?
This is Luke from South Dakota. I'm here with my fashion designer that
Hi, you guys. Here we are at the most fabulous place on planet Earth, which is the Republican National Convention here in the most beautiful city in America.
Beautiful people here in the drunkest state
Milwaukee.
in the country.
Yeah.
Beautiful people and drunk people. So now you're dressed as Make America Wealthy?
Yeah, pretty much, yes.
Okay, all right. Oh, yeah, look at that. And you're dressed as?
We are all the way President Trump. Yeah. We're gonna take the White House back for the American people. That's why we love President Trump, because he stands for not just for the American people, but for the whole world. When he was president, we have no war, no corruption. Yes, he can tweet, but who cares? We love him. Our bank accounts were great. That's why we have Make America Wealthy again. Yeah.
I need to buy more suits, please.
So wait a minute. Did you make these outfits? Who made this?
Andre Soriano, bro. Yeah. Andre Soriano, AndreSoriano.com, and the
okay. And then sorry. And then he just started pimping his website, so we can cut him off there. But look, I tell you, there's all kinds of people. The tent for the Republican Party is huge. It's huge, and as you can see, anyone's welcome. But we're going to try to get more and more. We're going to try to get more and more of those clips today. Of course, being the last day, it's going to be mayhem. So it should be a lot of fun. I'll share this with you tomorrow. Now, tomorrow's schedule is really interesting because really, when Donald Trump accepts the nomination tonight at like 9 o'clock, 9:30, he'll probably wrap up by right around 10:30. There's going to be the balloon drop. There's going to be the pomp. There's going to be the circumstance. There's going to be all of that, and then everything shuts down. Like as soon as everyone's out the building, they start ripping stuff off the walls. They start popping the balloons. We were told tomorrow that by noon Central Time we have to be out of here. They're going to cut the power. They're going to pull the internet. They're going to pull the plug on the internet. They're going to pull the power cord out of the wall. We're not going to be able to do anything. So tomorrow we'll be here from 11 to noon broadcasting, and then I'm going to have to tear down the backdrop and pack it all up, and then we're going to be headed home. But the campaign continues. You know, this is just the convention. This is just the beginning, technically, of the campaign. We just found out who the vice president is, and now J.D. Vance is going to spend the next 3 months crossing the globe, or crossing the country. He's going to be going to all of those states we mentioned. He's going to be going to other states that are in play. And when you look at the map, there's so much potential. You know, this is the first time, gosh, I can remember probably since Reagan maybe, that people have been talking about New York and California and New Jersey especially potentially being in play for a Republican candidate. Minnesota, we always thought Minnesota was always this close to being a red state again. It's always been kind of purple, and it always swung blue at the last minute. But this is a time when Minnesota could solidly go to Donald Trump. We've seen the map where Maine is red. New Hampshire could potentially flip back for the first time in over 20 years to being a red state. And Donald Trump could win all of these things. And now that he has a running mate, he can be in two places at one time. You can have J.D. Vance over here. You can have Donald Trump over there. You can have Don Jr. somewhere else. You can have Eric. That's probably one of the reasons he has so many kids, is for the campaign. I mean, think about it. If he only had one kid, there's no way he could campaign like. But he's got Don Jr., Eric. He's got Ivanka, who's probably going to hit the road. He's got Laura, who is fantastic. Tiffany is going to. Barron now has been introduced to society, and hell, he may even throw his granddaughter out there because she did such a great job auditioning last night. When she gave that speech about her grandpa. So the campaign doesn't end tonight. It begins tonight. When Donald Trump says, I accept your nomination, and when they pack up this tent, it's time to hit the road. And the rallies will continue. Don't think they won't. The security will be better, but the rallies will continue. All right, before we get out of here, I promise you my interview with Matt Boyle. Here we go. Oh, man, I'm so excited to have a very good friend of mine. He's the Washington bureau chief of Breitbart.com, and he's, of course, he's here. He literally knows everybody. We're so excited. Matt Boyle. Matt, what's up, man?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
Every time I walk by you have these great director's chairs at your booth, and you're interviewing someone, and you're focused, man. You stare at them intently.
It's a lot of fun to do these interviews, and so we've been doing a lot of them over the course of this week, and we're trying to really capture the story. I mean, we're living in this perilous moment in American politics. It's like this. There's going to be history books written about this stuff. I mean, it feels like every second we turn around, there's another major breaking story.
It is true,
right? Like it's whether it's the debate, which feels like about 3 years ago now, right? Like which was really just 3 weeks ago. The battle between all the Democrats, and they're deciding whatever they're going to do with their guy,
right?
Whether it's the horrific events that we saw on Saturday night, or last night, President Trump, coming out before the crowd.
J.D. Vance, I mean, all this stuff.
Yeah, J.D. Vance yesterday, and 2 hours before that, Eileen Cannon is the judge in Florida, threw out the appointment of the special counsel, and that's not to mention the fact that it looks like there's a massive cover-up going on with the Department of Homeland Security.
Oh, you just mentioned that to me. So this is breaking news. Tell me exactly what you just found out.
So Congressman Michael Cloud, I literally just left an interview with him like 5 minutes ago at our Breitbart booth over there, and he's on the Oversight Committee in the House of Representatives.
Right.
And today, the U.S. Secret Service was supposed to brief members of the House Oversight Committee.
Correct.
It was scheduled to happen today about what they know about the investigation so far into the assassination attempt on President Trump. They canceled the briefing today. They were supposed to do it today for House Republicans because apparently, according to Congressman Cloud, and again, I think he's a pretty reliable guy.
Yeah.
He's on the Oversight Committee. The reason being is that the Department of Homeland Security, which oversees the U.S. Secret Service,
right,
and of course is
yeah,
led by
Mayorkas.
Secretary Mayorkas, right, like Alejandro Mayorkas, who's been impeached, right, like is intervening now and taking control of the flow of the information regarding this investigation away from the Secret Service, and the Department of Homeland Security is running things from its centralized location.
So Alejandro Mayorkas, Department of Homeland Security Secretary, who you pointed out has been impeached and who really nobody trusts with anything,
correct,
is now leading the investigation into the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump.
Yes, that is correct. And by the way, he did such a great job at the border, right?
Yeah.
Like that now that he's doing this. It's absolutely astounding. And it undercuts everything that Joe Biden said in his Oval Office address, where he said he was going to, support a real investigation into this, that we were going to get to the bottom of it, that he wants to have. First off, who the heck is Joe Biden to tell us that he wants unity, right? Like, I mean, this is the guy who sicked the federal government on his political opponents to weaponize the Department of Justice against them.
Right, we're all extremists, MAGA extremists.
But, just facts, right? Like, but the point is that the Biden also said during that Oval Office address the other night that, there's going to be a robust investigation into the security failures and what happened here in Butler, Pennsylvania. But frankly, that's clearly not happened.
No,
right?
Not.
Like, so they're clearly engaged in full-blown cover-up mode. Joe Biden, Alejandro Mayorkas, and the rest of the Democrats are engaged in a cover-up of an assassination attempt against President Trump. I mean, this is going to be history book stuff, right? Like, I mean, people are still talking about JFK, right? Like, and rightly so.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, we're going to be talking about this for 50 years, 100 years.
JFK Jr., who just now got Secret Service protection because of Donald Trump, RFK Jr.
Yeah.
RFK Jr., who just got a Secret Service detail, he said on record he believes the CIA assassinated JFK, and I mean, that he's got to know something.
I have no idea. I wasn't there. I wasn't alive yet, so I don't know.
Come on.
But I have no idea.
You've got context. You've got someone in your phone who knows something. Matt Boyle from Breitbart, the Washington bureau chief. So, like you said, it's been a busy few days. We've got a lot more going. I've been telling everybody, and this kind of bleeds into what you were just saying, that when Donald Trump wins in November, you've got 3 months between the election and the inauguration. Joe Biden's going to be a lame duck. You've got a lot of Congress people and senators who hopefully will be going out the door. But in that 3 month period, I believe there's a lot of potential danger as they try to execute whatever on their agenda they didn't get to. And as our enemies, both here and abroad, try to take full advantage of Joe Biden as a lame duck.
Well, yeah, no doubt. And you're hearing the rhetoric from Democrats already, especially with the announcement yesterday of Senator Vance as the running mate. The DNC, et cetera, they're all out there attacking him. And you see they're continuing, even despite the fact that their people are taking shots at President Trump's head. They're continuing to call President Trump a threat to democracy. That's a lie. He's not. The fact is that President Trump has an extremely popular agenda, and if the people vote for it, the Democrats should not stand in its way. But they're terrified of J.D. Vance. Like, and I know that. I know Senator Vance really well. I know President Trump really well. They're both really good friends. But they're both very focused on this problem at hand. And J.D. Vance is someone who is intricately prepared. They know. Like, listen to Van Jones and these people on CNN talk about it. They say they're afraid because he's a lawyer and he knows how to do this stuff and he gets how to do it, etc. I think that the two of them coming into the White House as president and vice president is going to really serious. We're going to see some major changes with the deep state, etc.
Now, keep in mind, Kamala Harris is also a lawyer. Okay, I got
not a good one.
Yeah, but okay, it's going to be.
I tried to keep a straight face for as long as I could there.
It's going to be a great debate, though. I mean, J.D. Vance versus Kamala Harris, everyone says. And J.D. Vance, to me, is really, it's an interesting choice because, as we all know, when he won his Senate race in Ohio, it wasn't a slam dunk. It was a nail-biter till the end, and we all celebrated when he pulled it out. But J.D. Vance wasn't, like Donald Trump, he wasn't a career politician. He's not like, I got to go be president. He wrote a book. He did all kinds of things. He got a law degree. And then he decided, you know what, the next logical step for me is public service. And now he's not he's so fresh and new that he hasn't yet been corrupted.
Yeah, he's also his powerful personal story of having pulled himself out of. I mean, he comes from a really tough place in the Rust Belt in Appalachia, right? Like there in Ohio. He is the working classes man in the United States Senate. And frankly, assuming him and President Trump win in November, he'll be the working classes guy on the inside.
Yeah.
He's America's man on the inside, right? Like, and that terrifies these deep state globalist types. Look, when it comes to things like trade policy, like immigration policy as an economic issue. So I was with Senator Vance not too long ago, about a month ago in Detroit, Michigan. We were at a Turning Point event. We did a big video interview. People can go find it on Breitbart. It's pretty easy to find. If you just go to my byline on the website, you'll see it. It's a few stories down. And in it, he talks about these particular issues,
Sure.
Particularly immigration is an economic issue. And because he understands that and he can speak that language, I think he adds a lot to the ticket. I think that he really connects with those people in Western Pennsylvania, with those people Eastern Ohio, the people in the exurbs around Detroit, the people that make cars in Michigan, right? And the folks here all throughout the state of Wisconsin. I think JD really is the Rust Belt's man in this. That's what makes this election about. I mean, it's a double, triple down on. It's like doubling down in blackjack. You got 11. Right, like you double down, and JD gives you 21.
He gives you 21,
right?
And
like,
you double up.
And frankly, like he's the guy that's to win. It's the exact strategy that Trump won in 2016 with.
It's going to be fantastic. By the way, Breitbart, and I'm not sponsored by Breitbart, but I will tell you this: Breitbart is the first news source you should go to every morning. It is the news of the day without the liberal slant, and it is the truth. And you read the stories and you go, yeah, that makes perfect sense. And even back when I was doing radio, now that I'm doing my podcast, Breitbart is the first place I go for information, more so than Drudge, more so than anywhere else, because you guys are on it. So definitely check out Matt's stuff and everybody. And I'm not just saying that because they did a big piece on me and John Rutherford, although that was very helpful. Thanks so much for that. All right, so the other big narrative going on here is we have the Secret Service, we have J.D. Vance.
Sure.
And we have Donald Trump coming out on Thursday. Reportedly, after the shooting, after the assassination attempt, he ripped up his speech, proverbially, and he rewrote it, and he's going to come out with a much different tenor. What do you think is going to happen on Thursday when Donald Trump accepts the nomination?
Okay, so I've been fascinated by this discussion playing out in the establishment media for some time now, since Saturday, where they're all talking about how we need more unity, Well, it depends on your definition of the word unity.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, I agree. I think we need more unity as a country.
Right.
But I'll tell you, after what we've seen with the Democrats, I wasn't going to say this on the record, but I'm going to at this point. I'll tell you my definition of unity with the Democrats is we accept your surrender.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
that's what they mean.
That's my definition to them.
Oh, right.
Like, they're going to lose, and we'll accept their surrender. The fact is that they've been coming after President Trump and conservatives for so long. I'm sorry, like we're just gonna act like this didn't happen, right. Excuse me, right? Like they've been trying to put him in jail. I mean, not only are they trying to put him in jail, then they're trying to, after they do that, the Democrats, the chairman of the January 6th committee, that Nancy Pelosi put in charge of that committee, Benny Thompson, introduced legislation that would strip him of Secret Service protection in prison. So that they could kill him there. That's what they're trying to do. So the fact is that until such time as the Democrats they should bring the tone down.
Yeah.
Joe Biden needs to take several actions to bring the tone down. It's on them. So I have I think you're going to see a heck of a speech from President Trump. I don't have any inside information into it. I haven't read the speech. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't think anybody knows except for him and maybe like a couple people around him, right? But the fact is that we'll see what he does, but I think it'll be a really stark contrast with Joe Biden as for what kind of a country we're going to have. And again, I think it depends on your definition of the word unity.
Thursday night, Donald Trump accepts the nomination with what is going to be a barn burner of a speech. I'll be there. Matt Boyle, you'll be there. Matt Boyle, hey, thanks, man. This was great.
Yep, you bet. Anytime.
Breitbart.com.
Anytime I can help.
Yeah, put it in your bookmarks. I just got another update. Apparently, Elon Musk is on the docket for tonight as well. Elon Musk. I guess when you give $45 million a month to the RNC and to the campaign, you can pretty much pick up the phone and say, hey, you know what? I'd like to speak at the RNC. Remember that big the check I just cashed? Well, okay. So you got Elon, Hulk Hogan, 50 Cent. I mean, this is turning out. This is really going to be the night of all nights at the RNC, and we'll bring you the entire recap of it tomorrow. Now, Don Jr. just walked by too. Incidentally, when Don Jr. walks through the place, it's almost like TMZ-ish. There's him. There's a crowd of people. Half of them have like a cell phone stuck in his face because they're recording whatever's happening, and the other half there's a camera right there in his face, and he walks through, and it's just a gaggle of reporters. It's really kind of fun to watch. A lot of that going on. We're going to wrap this up. Listen, don't forget that you need to not only subscribe to whatever channel you're watching, whether it's YouTube or Rumble, but we also really need you to download the podcast. And if you go to iTunes, if you go to Spotify, make sure you're subscribed. That way it'll download automatically to your phone. It'll always be there when you need it. Whenever you're bored or in your car or, there's just nothing good on the radio, because let's be honest, there's nothing good on the radio. You can just pop in the Mark K Show podcast. You can pop in Mark K Saves the Republic, and you can hear it. We would love for you to help in any way that you possibly can. Go Trump Yourself is available now at gotrumpyourself.com. If you would like a copy or multiple copies, if you'd like an ebook or an audiobook and you'd like to hear me read it to you, they're all available at gotrumpyourself.com. Again, all proceeds go to help Mark K Saves the Republic. Look, we're getting close, man. It's exciting. We've got a vice presidential candidate in place. We've got Donald Trump in place. We've got surrogates all over the place. We've got a campaign that's about to really kick off into high gear. We've got tons of cash from Elon Musk and other supporters, and we've got just 3 months now until the big day. We don't know if it's going to be Joe Biden at the top of the ticket. We don't know if it's going to be Kamala Harris on the VP stage debating J.D. Vance. We don't know a lot of things. Every single day, things change. Today, Joe Biden got COVID. What horrible disease is he going to get tomorrow? We're not really sure, but we'll be here to let you know about it. Make sure you join us as well, too, on Rumble, on YouTube, on the podcast platform of your choice, because we need everybody every single day being diligent. We need everybody every single day working together to stay informed, to stay inspired, to stay enlightened, to stay entertained, and to save the Republic. See you tomorrow.